these boys wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have known that the decision that they just made randomly was actually the right decision, was the decision that God wanted them to make, was the decision that God was going to use to fulfill a promise and a prophecy that he had made through Elisha. We see this in 2 Kings chapter 7 verse 3, where it says, "Now there were 4 men with leprosy at the entrance of the city gate. They said to each other, 'Why stay here until we die?'" These guys were in a very difficult situation. They had leprosy, and you know when you have leprosy, you are not allowed amongst other people. So they were set at the city gate so that they cannot mix with other people. They were deserted. They were in a situation that they didn't really like to be, that they didn't really want to be. And they sat down for themselves and they were like, if we sit here, if we stay here, we will die. If we decide to go back into the city, we will also die. But maybe we can go to the camp of the Amorites. If we die, if they kill us, we are going to die anyway, but they might spare our lives. These men, they decided to make a best decision based on what they had, based on the information that they had, and they just hoped. Little did they know that the decision that they were making was exactly the same decision that God wanted them to make. This is a clear definition of He leads us in the path of righteousness for His name's sake. And when God is leading us, sometimes it's not even a still small voice that we hear. Sometimes it's not even God's audible voice that we hear. He just directs us. He makes us want or make us make choices and decisions that align with His path. These guys, they decided to do something and not just sit there and die. And when they made their way to that camp, God used them. He made their footsteps to be very strong, that those guys were scared. They thought maybe the kings had sent a huge army when it was just 4 men with leprosy. God worked with them because they were willing. They hoped. They hoped to say, you know what, maybe God would come through for us. Maybe they will spare us. I want to encourage you today in whatever situation that you're in. Do not just sit there. Do not just wait for your moment to die. Do not just sit there and die of hunger and die of poverty. Make that decision that you think would be the best decision. And hope in the Lord that He will use your steps, He will order your steps. Wherever you're going to go and put your service, that's where He wants you to put your service. Wherever you're going to go and have conversations, that's what He wants you to do. Hope. Don't just sit there and die, because these men, they wouldn't have known. But what they exercised right here is wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to make the right decision based on the information that you have. And God said He is the one who is able to give us wisdom. And He also said, if you lack wisdom, if you don't have wisdom, ask Him. He will give it to you in abundance. But when you ask, you have to ask in faith. You have to ask believing that He is going to give it to you and He's going to come through for you. Because these men in 2 Kings 7, they wouldn't have known. There was no way of knowing that the decision that they were making was exactly in line with the prophecy that God had spoken to His people through Elisha. God is using us to fulfill prophecy. He is using us to fulfill destiny. And we have to be willing. We have to be willing to make the step. We have to be willing to hope, to move in faith and in obedience. We have to be willing to use that which is in front of us. Because sometimes, honestly, we just can never know until we are on the other side. Sometimes we don't hear the confirmation before we move. But we move anyway, just hoping that we are moving in the right direction. And if it is not the right direction, God Himself will redirect you the way He is supposed to redirect you. So these guys, they were in the perfect will of God. They were deserted. They were not happy with themselves. They didn't understand their fate. but they did what was best anyway, and God worked with them. So I want to encourage you today. Don't just sit there. Do the best that you can with what you have, and God will work with you. His word is the light unto our path. He will light your path. He would redirect you. You know, there's a verse that says, when you turn to the left and when you turn to the right, you will hear a voice saying, this is the way, walk in it. Mind you, it is saying when you turn to the left, meaning to say you have to make a turn. It's when you make the turn that you will hear that this is the way. It is when you make the turn that you will hear that walk in it, not that just when you're sitting. I'm a strong believer in, getting confirmation, throwing the fleas and asking God. But sometimes we are crippled by that. Sometimes we remain stagnant because we are just waiting for that one sign. When God has given us wisdom, when God has given us courage, when God has given us strength to work with what we have and move forward in obedience and believe and trust that if it is not the right way, He knows how to redirect. He knows how to take you where you're supposed to be. So I'm encouraging you today. Do something. Don't just sit there, relax. Do something. Send in those CVs. Make that phone call. Have that conversation. Buy that asset. Start that ministry. Do something. God will meet you there. And you never know. Maybe that thing that you're just deciding to do is what God wants you to be doing in that season of your life. So I'm encouraging you today. Stay encouraged.